Good morning, dear friends. Day 2 in Mumbai. I'm staying in the port area. This has a lot of examples of old colonial architecture that you'll see pretty much all over this neighborhood. Remnants from the colonial area, previous British rule of India. So the architecture is pretty amazing, or at least in stark contrast to what you would find normally in India. So you have these sort of very Gothic cathedral type buildings. The main terminus train station here has a similar sort of construction. So it's a pretty picturesque area of India, but also, fully, influenced by the city. So in Mumbai, this is a place called the Dhobi Ghat. Now, they do all sorts of laundry from all over the city here. So the majority of it comes from places like hotels and people that are getting their laundry done. It's all done. They all hand wash it here. This place has been active for over 140 years. And you can see they'll basically dry the laundry out on, the laundry lines and the roofs all around. They wash everything by hand, basically. There's some automatic washers around here, but most of this is by hand. And they do laundry for, large hotel chains, uniforms, that kind of stuff. 65 years have been here, and he said also his grandfather was here as well. And so multi-generational thing, grandfathers, fathers, and sons, all inside working together. It's a really interesting sort of symbol of sort of like the Indian industrial spirit. There's businesses, small businesses everywhere, and people willing to work hard. So just a quick word of advice about the Dhobi Ghat Laundry. It's free to visit. You can go. If you go up sort of the back side of it, there's a kind of a stairs that lead up to a viewing platform that you can sort of get the full sort of version of the Ghat sort of laid out beneath you. If you make your way down and around to one of the sides, there's a couple different entrances. Sort of make your way in to the entrance. There'll probably be one or two guys who will try to convince you that that you can't just walk in, that you have to pay an entrance fee or you need to hire a guide. That's not the case. I had the fortune to talk to a couple of the workers inside, and one of them made a point of telling me to not pay for a guide, that it's free. You can just enter in and just be respectful, and if you ask people to take their picture, they seem to be super kind and accommodating. So it's definitely worth the trip to come check it out. I know it sounds a little strange to go visit an outdoor laundry, but it's an interesting sort of like occurrence that's happening, as well as the people that are working in the laundry seem incredibly nice and kind. Even the folks that are selling things sort of around the area were super nice. I ran into a couple girls that were selling magnets and bracelets up the stairs at the viewing platform. They were super sweet. Yeah, check it out. Don't pay for a guide. Just be respectful, obviously, and enjoy it. It's definitely worth a trip once you're in Mumbai to check it out. So invariably, if you take an Uber or a cab or a taxi in Mumbai, you will end up in one of these, and generally it's either a Suzuki or a Hyundai, but they're basically these black and yellow tiny cars, and they are ubiquitous in this city. Everything from tiny vans to tiny cars, any taxi that you take. This is a symbol of the city, and it's you'll see them almost, you know, everywhere you go. They're probably responsible for, I would say 80% of the honking in the city as well, which you tend to get used to about, I guess about 10 years after you arrive here. I just wanted to make a quick video about Dharavi, the Mumbai slum, and basically the slum that was sort of the centerpiece of Slumdog Millionaire, that kind of thing. I took a tour of it today. You know, it's a fairly, I think at least in the US, it's a controversial idea to go on a tour of a slum, and the sort of idea that you have poverty tourism occurring. So my experience there was, I think, positive and profound. It's a slum of over 1 million people, and there's all sorts of industry and businesses that are occurring within Dharavi. I not once felt like the tour is being exploitive or taking advantage of folks. Everybody that I spoke to in the slum was happy and engaged and happy that the tour was happening. The tour actually helps fund education and other infrastructure projects within the slum. It's obviously a complicated moral issue, and some people have strong feelings about not doing something like that, and some people won't have any issues. I think ultimately, I think it's a net positive to visit a place like that. You know, roughly 40% of Mumbai's population live in what would be considered or are classified as slums. So in order to get a clear sense of Mumbai, I think it would be a poor decision to exclude, you know, over 40% of the population and the way they live and the people and where they live. There is a story to be told about that place, and I think it's important to see that firsthand. There were several times I felt profound sadness in a place like that, but also joy, and you know, there are a lot of kids in a place like that, and every one of them seemed happy. They were engaged with friends. There was a community sense about the place. It was, you know, the living conditions obviously aren't the best, but I think there's something about community, a place like Mumbai where 40% of the population lives in a slum. So that's my 2 cents. I went, I visited. I would recommend doing that for others. I think it's an important part of experiencing a culture from the top to the bottom. I've never been the type of person that goes on a vacation and spends the entire time in a bubble in a hotel. So I guess I just, you know, obviously they didn't allow us to do any photography. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing any photography in there. They gave us a link to some great professional photos that really capture the essence of it anyway, so there's really no need to you know, walk through these people's, you know, neighborhood with a camera. So I felt the tour is led responsibly, respectfully, and if it's something you're considering, I would probably do it. Yeah, if you're on the fence morally, I understand that too, but I think ultimately it's a net positive. So that's just my 2 cents. So this is Chowpatty. This is I guess one of the local access public beaches here. Well, the beach is sort of full of just people relaxing, kind of walking along. You can see that there's really not anybody swimming in the water. There's some people playing at the edge. I guess there's a few people kind of far out. What I've seen is that it's probably not a great thing to swim in the water, especially given what's been sort of washed up on the beach that I can see here. Just, yeah, it's not one of those areas that look like you'd want to spend much time in the surf. The weather's been actually pretty good. I mean, although There's been a little bit of humidity, like 99%. The heat's been not too bad, like mid to high 80s. The place that I'm at now is called Sukha Sagar, Sukhagar, Sagar. And apparently they're known for the pav bhaji, I believe. All right, so the pav bhaji has arrived. I also got a like a ginger lime soda drink. So I guess the trick to this is basically you sort of tear off this lovely soft bun and kind of dip it into this sort of sauce. So I'm kind of excited to give it a taste. There's also some kind of diced up onion and a couple little limes, but here, you don't want to hear me talk about it, you want to see it, right? All right, let's give this a try here. It's just amazing, you know. The bread is like light and buttery. The guy asked me if I wanted spicy or not. And I said, yeah, of course, bring it on. I can handle it. This isn't, I wouldn't say this is spicy at all. So maybe sometimes they hear that it's fine and they want to protect you. But this is great. The bread is really light, buttery. The sauce is rich and like sort of a tomato base. That was really good. Yeah, it's really good. All right, so I'm just gonna head down the beach now. There's another little street food spot that sells pan puri, which is like, well, you'll see it, but it's like a small kind of like, I don't know, almost like a sort of pastry shaped cup filled with spicy juice, I guess. We're gonna give it a shot and see exactly how it is. So this is my last day in Mumbai, so I'll be hopping on the train tonight and taking a 12.5-hour trip down to Goa. Goa's sort of the beach resorty area on the west coast of India. A lot of Indians go down there for vacation. It's sort of a great way to get away from the city and relax on the beach. There's different areas of Goa, the north and the south. The north tends to be more about nightlife and discos and beach parties. I guess there's a pretty big scene there where they do raves on the beach. These silent raves where it's you get a set of headphones and everybody dances around to DJ music that's pumped into the headphones, so you're not blasting it on the beach. I will be going to South Goa, so more of a kind of a laid-back, relaxing area that is included in, or at least it's a sort of included activities are, you know, relaxing on the beach, eating at, or just sort of chilling at shacks that are sort of align the beachfront. So I'm interested to see what that feels like and looks like in India, and maybe get out of the city and start enjoying a little bit more relaxed time.
Spicy. Sweet.
All right, here we go. It's so good. Can I get one more? Wow. That's great. This is the man, the legend, right here. It's good. Thank you, my friend. All right, so Pandapuri, that was an amazing little, you know, bite-sized snack. The guy fills it with, depending on what you want, how spicy or sweet you want it. Takes these little these little, you know, cup pastries basically, and fills them with like lovely kind of liquid chutney. And so it's basically a bite-sized little morsel, and you just put it all in all at once. I got the spicy one. It wasn't like overly spicy. It had a little bit of heat to it, but nothing that I think most folks would be fine with. And you just sort of eat it all in one big go. Really great, great little Indian, you know, street food, bite-sized morsel. I like the fact that you can sort of hit these places. You know, you do a small dish here and a small dish there, and before you know it, you've had basically a whole meal, but from, you know, 4 or 5 different vendors. It's really just tasty. And here it goes. It's really good. So it's got all sorts of stuff in there. There's some chutney, cucumber, and when they say cheese toast, it's really, it's not as basic as it sounds. And I did see him put basically just a handful of minced onions on this, and well, some of my dear friends that are also family will know that that's one of those things that I tend to stay pretty clear of, but this is just lovely. Basically, it's like you have a plain, very basic plain white bread, a bunch of veg in the middle, cucumbers, and then sort of a spicy chutney that goes with it. While I was over there, a gentleman bought me one of these, kind of an ice. They're basically like a snow cone. He insisted that paying for it for me. The hospitality and the kindness, and it was always a little overwhelming. People are always so anxious to make sure that you're enjoying yourself. But the flavor on this, he basically described it as Coca-Cola, but slightly sweeter. The other thing that's in this is potato, which you would never think you put on cheese toast. It's got all sorts of great stuff on it. It tastes great. Even with the onions, surprisingly good. Yeah. So, yeah, I totally recommend it. It's great. Behind me, there's basically this little, this is right on the edge of the beach, and there's probably, you know, 15 or 20 different little food carts there, all different, you know, Indian street food options. It's a great place to go, especially a lot of the, you know, the like typical street food areas, you know, open later. So this is open in the afternoon, early evening, if that's important to you as well. But it's a great day. You can, you know, you can spend some time on the beach, grab a little snack, all good.